What is up, guys? Zaid here, and today I'm going to be going over my buddy Shooting Stardust's deck profile. Today we were playing, and he was playing this deck, the XiangJian. Forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, but this is the first time I ever played against this deck, and I thought it was really cool. I had a lot of fun playing against it, and I'm going to upload the matches we had soon too. Also, I'm going to take my glasses off because I realized in my last upload with my glasses that my computer screen reflects into the glasses. But I'm going to just get right into this deck, and then I'm going to read the OCG cards to you because, like, they're not out yet. And I think that these cards just recently got revealed, too, so I doubt most people know what they do. But to start, there's 3 Ash, 3 Ecclesia the Virtuous in white. This card is kind of really cool. It's a lone fire that can special summon itself. So if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, special this card from your hand. You can only special it once per turn this way. And then you can only use each of the effects of her once per turn. During your main phase, quick effect, tribute this card. That's important that it's quick effect. They cannot imperm or veiler this because you just chain its effect. But during your main phase, quick effect, tribute this card, special as Zhang Tian or a Fallen of Albiz from your hand or deck. And then during the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard this turn, add this card from your grave to your hand. As you can see, in this deck, there's no fusions, so you're not getting the fusion effect, but you're using this to tribute to summon any of your Zhangqians from deck. And I really hope they change the name for this deck, because I can't pronounce this shit for shit. But then there's 2 Ghost Bell, 3 of Long Wan. What this guy does, he's a level 6, which is important for the extra deck. He lets you discard one of your other XiangJian cards or a Wyrm monster to special him from hand, so he's an extender, and then you could special summon a token that's level 4. It's also a starter. This card's like a starter or an extender, depending on like the rest of your hand. But so you pitch a card, summon him, summon the token, and then these tokens are tuners. Every one of these monsters that summons a token, the token is a tuner, and all the monsters are non-tuners. So this guy is a 1-card level 10 synchro. And then if you do, you cannot special monsters from the extra deck except Synchro Monsters while the token is on the field. All the Zhangqian guys are exactly the same in that regard. They all summon a level 4 token somehow, and that token is a tuner. I believe they're all water level 4s, 0 attack, 0 defense, and you cannot special summon except for synchros only while the token is on the field. Once you make a synchro with that token, you're no longer locked to synchros. And then you play 3 Mo Yi. This card, if it's normal or special summoned, reveal a Xingqian or a Wyrm monster from your hand to summon a tuner. Level 4 water, 0/0 Wyrm. And if you do, you can't special, same thing. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, draw a card. So this card's a 1-card level 8 synchro that also draws you a card. 1.5, because you have to reveal a card. And then, I think, let me see real quick. Yeah, and then it draws. My bad. And then this guy, Tai Ye, that's a cool name. But he allows you to banish a Xingqian card or a Wyrm from your grave, and then special a token. Same as every other. Water, tuner, level 4, 0/0. And then you cannot special from the extra deck, Then if this card's sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, send a Zhangqian card or a Wyrm from your deck to the grave. You can only use each effect once per turn. And then this is a Tenyi build of it. And so we play 2 Tenyi Spirit at Hara, which if you control no effect monsters, special summon it. Then you could special, if you control no effect monsters, special this card from your hand. If you control a non-effect monster, banish this card from the graveyard, target a banished Wyrm, and add it to hand. And the synergy with this deck is that the Tenyis require you to have a non-effect monster, and that's the token. I got some pizza in my teeth also. Disregard that real quick. But so the synergy with these bad boys is that everything is Wyrm, and then the Tenyis get effects when you have non-effect monsters, and these guys summon tokens. And so then there's 3 Tenyi Spirit Ashuna. If you control no effect monsters, you can special this from your hand. If you control a non-effect, banish this card, special a Tenyi from your deck. Also, you cannot special monsters for the rest of the turn except Wyrm. This is important that this locks you into Wyrms for the entire turn. This is the only like hard restriction the deck has when you resolve this card, I believe. Everything else is like with the tokens, you can only synchro summon, but that's when you have the token. Then there's 2 Vishuddha. If you control no effect monsters, special summon it. If you control a non-effect, banish it. Target a card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So this card's good for going second. Also, it's a level 7, which goes with this level 1 to make level 8 synchros, which you'll see in the extra deck matter. And then for the spells, a called by, 2 desires, 3 XiangJian Dragon Sword appears. This card is a Rhoda, I believe. Add a XiangJian monster from your deck to your hand, or if you control Synchro, add a Wyrm instead. If this card's banished, which a couple of these cards banished, some of the Synchros banished too. If this card's banished, target a XiangJian or a Wyrm, increase or reduce its level by 1 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. And then 2 Vessel of the Dragon Cycle lets you Foolish Burial a Wyrm. And then if you control a non-effect monster, you can also search a Tenyi. So this is another like really interesting synergy with the deck, is that this card can send you any of your XiangJians, and then you also get to search a Tenyi. So it's just like really neat. It's a really good card. Then this card, XiangJianmen, the Grand Spiritual Peak. Target 1 XiangJian monster in your graveyard, or if you control Synchro, target a Wyrm instead. Special summon it. If this card is banished, target a XiangJian or a Wyrm monster you control, increase or reduce its level by 1. Only use each effect per turn. So this card's their Monster Reborn, which again is pretty freaking nice to have. And then 3 Imperm, and then 3 XiangJian Sudden Shift. I'm going to upload the replay soon, probably like the day after I release this video, of the duels that me and this man had shooting Stardust. He was playing this, I was playing the Tri-Brigade deck. But while we were playing, we were talking about this, and I think one hand trap that should definitely be in the main for this deck is DD Crow. And I'm going to skip right to the card to talk about it, honestly. Which one was it? It's one of these synchros. I think it's this guy. This card, XiangJian, he is the level 10. So you make him with your level 6, because a level 6 summons a 4 token tuner. And you go into this card when you're locked into Wyrms. This card gains 100 attack and defense for each banished card. Monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack and defense for each banished card. Which, by the way, makes Desires kind of nuts. Desires is kind of like a 2k boost, because you gain 1,000, all their guys lose 1,000. And then if this card would be destroyed by card effect, banish a card from your grave instead. So it's got protection, kind of like a Thunder Dragon, Titan, and Colossalus, how they can banish to protect. But it's a generic, so like Titan, more notably. And then if a card is banished, except during the damage step, banish 1 card each from your opponent's field and graveyard. So this is the card why I think DD Crow would be really cool in the main, because this card does proc off of its own effect to protect itself, but having a DD Crow basically makes this card a quick play non-target banish whenever you want, because when you draw the DD Crow, you're just like, DD Crow target, chain, do you have a response? And then you get to banish a second card, so it's like Cycle Reader against any deck, but also banish a card from their fucking field. Like, that shit's insane. And you can only use this effect once per turn. So I think the protection effect isn't once per turn. So this card's basically can't be destroyed by card effects. But the extra deck also plays 1 Adamancipator Ryzen. This card, I believe, is a spell trap negate. When your opponent activates a spell trap card or effect while a water monster is in your graveyard, negate the activation and destroy it. Then 1 Baroness de Fleur. This card is not out yet also. This card is fucking crazy. Level 10 synchro, so you also make it with this guy. You make this one when you're not locked into Wyrms from Ashuna. This card is once per turn, target a card on the field, destroy it, which you can only do on your turn, not quick effect. But once while this card's on the field, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, negate the activation and destroy it. So Omni negate, but you can only use it once while it's on the field. But once per turn during the standby phase, not your, you can target 1 level 9 or lower in your graveyard, return this card to your extra deck, and special that monster. So after it gets a negate on the next turn, it can just tag out for anything in your grave. So like, you can either summon this on your turn if they hand trap you, or use a trap card if you went second, negate it, and then on their standby phase, you can tag it into either one of your like regular monsters, or if it's like a later game, you could summon any of your negates from the graveyard that got outed already. So this card's just like really fucking cool. And then 2 Baxia, which, if you guys don't remember what this card does, I wouldn't be surprised. Haven't seen play in a while. If you Synchro Summon, target cards on the field up to the number of different attributes of Wyrm monsters used for it, which is almost always 2 unless you make it with this guy, because he's a water and the token's a water. But in the instance where you use it with this guy, it would be 2 because he's a wind. So I said almost always when it's like 50-50, but fuck it. I guess technically 2/3 of the time, because if you wanted to use it, you'd use this to get this. So you have 9 ways to make it, 6 of which are wind, 3 of which are water. But so you shuffle 1 to 2 cards, and then once per turn, target a card you control in level 4 or lower in your graveyard, destroy the card on the field, special summon the other. It's really good. And then we already went over Grand Duke. I didn't say his name though. Cheng, the XiangJian Grand Duke. And then we got Chi Zhao. This card's also fucking good. If this card's Synchro Summoned, add to your hand or banish 1 XiangJian card from your deck. So I'm sure you notice with these guys, these are like kind of 1 card starters. This one you have to reveal, this one you have to banish. So they're both like 1.5 card starters, but you use them to summon this, which searches a card and is a negate. So it's like 1.5 cards gives you a negate, but also gives you another card. It's like kind of crazy. And then you add one of them to your hand. I already read that. Quick effect: banish a Xiangjian card or a Wyrm from your hand or graveyard. Then target 1 other effect monster on the field. Negate its effects until the end of this turn. And that card also synergizes really well with this other one. There's 3 of this, by the way. I forgot to say that. But so like if you summon both of these, you banish a card, negate one of their monsters, and then you get to banish a card from their grave and their field. And then next, 1 Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish it. Doesn't negate though, but banishes the card. Which again triggers the Grand Duke. If this attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle, sends it to the grave. Gain attack equal to the destroyed monster's attack, and then it can make a second attack. Next we got 1 Omega. Everyone knows what Omega does. 1 White Aura Whale. I have no fucking clue what this card does. If this card Synchro Summon, destroy all of your opponent's attack position monsters. Can make 2 attacks. If this card attacks 2 attacks on monsters. If this card attacks a monster in defense, inflict piercing. And then if this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, banish another water from your grave, special this card, and treat it as a tuner. So just a big beater that on summon destroys attack position monsters, pierces over defense, can attack twice, and floats. 1 Yazi, Evil of the Yang Zing. He lets you pop a Yang Zing you control and a card your opponent controls. And then if this card is destroyed by battle, the card effect special a Wyrm from your deck, which is kind of nuts. And then we got 2 Monk of the Tenyi, which is just a vanilla link 1. You use this for the Tenyi plays. And then a Shaman of the Tenyi. 2 Wyrm monsters. Discard a card, target a Wyrm in your grave, special it. Also for the rest of the turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters special summon from the extra deck, except Tenyi monsters. So you don't use this card till like the end of a combo, because yeah, you can't use your monsters. But then when an attack is involved, when an attack is declared involving your face-up non-effect monster, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. This card I think is mainly just like a link 2 to make with your your Tenyis to put them in grave to get their graveyard effects. But yeah, that's the deck. Like I said, I will be posting replays of this deck versus Tri-Brigade. It's not even just a match. I think we played like 5 or 6 games. And it was really fun getting to play against it and learn what the cards do. And make a little new friend on Dueling Book. I really like the guy. Shooting Stardust was his name on here. And yeah. So if you guys enjoyed the deck profile, make sure you like and subscribe. And stick around so that when I post the replays, you can see that shit. And if you want, I could also post my Tri-Brigade list. Just let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.